Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's November 9th, 2023. Last night we got the most amount of rain. We got a half an inch of rain. That's the most that we've had since early spring, end of winter, which was really nice, getting some significant amount of rain. Of course, some of it was sleet. You can see where it slid off the roof, but everything on the ground is melted. And it's not too bad today. But yesterday I was moving more honey locust trees, and I think I moved my last one yesterday afternoon. So this is a mulberry tree right here in front of us here, and right here one of the little seedling honey locust trees that I put in a few years ago was right here. You can see the spot here where it was, and I decided I'm going to move that since I've been working on this the mound that was here, and moving all of the trees. I had already started moving some of the apples and pears and all from here and moved it over into the second food forest. But that honey locust right here was one of the trees that I moved, that I actually moved yesterday. Is this camera still working? Okay, it's working. So, and so there's Elon, the Takushi TB290, the excavator that I use. And moving around between all of the canopy of these trees, it's a bit of a hassle. And then we have all the hazelnuts right here. And this tree, if you picture the branches here, these were all intermixed with this because the tree was just 4 feet from this tree. Way too close. So my big goal was to save this as much as possible, the mulberry, and to try and save this one if I could. And I did do some damage to this one, and I'm going to prune it here in just a moment. But ideally, I should have pruned it before I actually went ahead and started moving it. And so here's an example, one of the limbs. So I'm going to prune all of these lower limbs down here now. And when I took it out of here, so the mulberries have really extensive roots. So this actually this right here is one of the mulberry roots right here. They travel out far beyond the perimeter of the canopy. So these roots are probably over touching the driveway over there. They're on the other side of the swale over there because I've dug them up over there before. So they're really extensive roots. I don't know if this one has deep roots as well, but they're really a lot of superficial roots all over the place. And so since I wanted to do as little damage there, and I was making a big hole here to take this tree out, one of the things I do is I grab a hold of it, get it with the thumb in the bucket, so I've got it collected in my my bucket and my thumb, and then I try to tease it out by pulling the roots, the lateral roots on this one that came out this way, that were intertwined with the mulberry roots. I hope this is making sense. So it's a lot of ticklish movement because you're worried about the roots and you're trying not to damage the canopy here. So it's a challenging thing. And at some point my thumb came a little bit loose and I lost the tree. It fell down over there. Of course the root ball was here and still had the roots attached, so I re-grabbed it, pulled the roots out so I wasn't doing any damage to this tree, and then I had to re-grasp it. Now a tree, I know it doesn't look that large. Oh, the other thing that I was going to say here is the roots on the swale side of the honey locust went down pretty deep into the soil there, and I was pulling it this way here, just trying to explain this for you to understand it, so that the canopies would become less tangled and so that I do as little damage to the roots that were connecting between the two trees. I hope that makes sense. As a result of pulling it up out of the ground and the roots on this side going down underneath the swale, one of the things that happened is Now I was able to save the root, but as you can see, oh, I don't know, can you see this? There's a split where the root, come on camera, I'm having trouble getting the camera to, there's a split where the main root, this one main root comes off to the side, and hopefully you could see how that is. And so I was able to save it and save the whole root. The root goes way out over here. But it was a ticklish thing to do it. So what's my point to tell you all of this? To say how hard I had it yesterday? No. My point is that one of the things I need to do now, even though these are really super hardy trees, it's really important for me to prune some of the tree now. Fortunately, I'm doing it when it's dormant, so there's no leaves on the tree. So there's no requirement for the roots to be bringing lots of moisture and minerals up to the roots, up to the trees, so that photosynthesis can happen. So the roots have a chance to reestablish over the winter months, but I want to reduce anything that's damaged and anything that isn't necessary. Now ideally, I take off one of those, that one that's a little bit too much of an acute angle. We want the branches to be, this is about as tight a branch as we want to have right here. You see this, the bark right here? That can start to separate and split as this tree gets larger. So I'm going to take this one off. This angle is perfect. You see how the bark wraps around the collar here at the growth spot. Hopefully I'm pointing the camera in the right direction. So this branch is beautiful. This branch was beautiful until I damaged it, the angle. But this is a future problem. So when I see this, that's a future problem. And sometimes I don't get to those. That one up there is a future problem. So I will have to, by springtime, come up here with the pole saw and take that off, or get up there with a ladder. But I'm going to take, oh dang camera. But I'm going to take off these lower limbs first so that that's taken care of. The less damage that I have to trees in the future, the less work I end up having to do. Like there's some tree species that are a real pain in the butt. Like, for example, between hazelnuts here, I love the looks of the weeping willows, but every storm I lose limbs. So the amount of limbs that you see right here, I've probably done this, removed these 5 times this year. Every good windstorm, this happens. And it's just a hassle. This time it didn't really do any damage to the hazelnuts, but it's just one of those things. So what are my points? Prune if you're doing the damage. Things don't always work out. The trees fall down. Holes are too big, as you saw in the last video, and you have to work to bring the tree root crown up to the level of the soil, like I did in the last video that I posted and all. And but anticipating future problems and realizing some trees, like our curly willows, don't have the troubles that a weeping willow has, but it doesn't have that beautiful weeping view of it. And this wasn't even an ice storm. This was just a wind storm. When we have the ice storms, I'll probably lose half of this tree, or potentially the whole tree. So that's enough of me babbling on about this. I just have a little bit more to do. That's the last tree I'm going to transplant, I think, this season. I got to get to work in the workshop, and I got to go cut some firewood as well. So that's a long-winded, short video about some of the caveats that we have when we're transplanting trees. And I do think it's important to do it when they're dormant and prune them as necessary as well. Anticipate future problems, especially the angle where the branches are coming off from the trunk of the tree. Save yourself future problems. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye now.